You walk every single day. You have been doing it your whole life. And yet walking might be the very thing quietly destroying your knees right now. Not because walking is bad. Walking is one of the best things you can do after 60. But the way most seniors walk is causing pain that should never be there in the first place. Today, we are going to fix that. Here is what most people get wrong about knee pain after 60. They assume it is just aging, the cartilage is wearing down, the joints are getting old, and there is nothing to be done about it. But that is only part of the story. A huge portion of knee pain in seniors comes not from the knee itself, but from the way they move, specifically the way they walk. Small mechanical errors that most people never even notice. Things like how your foot lands, how long your stride is, how your toes are pointing. These are not random problems, they are patterns, and patterns can be changed. There are 3 mistakes in particular that physical therapists and orthopedic specialists see constantly in seniors with chronic knee pain. We are going to go through all 3 of them, starting with number 3. And after each one, we are going to tell you exactly what to do instead. Drop a comment below and let us know where you are watching from and whether knee pain is something you deal with regularly. We read every comment. Mistake 3. Heel striking too hard. Think about how your foot lands when you walk. For most people, the heel hits the ground first. That is completely normal. But there is a major difference between a soft heel strike and a hard one, and after 60, the difference matters enormously. When you slam your heel into the ground with each step, you are sending a shockwave straight up through your leg. That force travels through your ankle, through your shin, and directly into your knee joint, every single step. Multiply that by the thousands of steps you take in a day, and you start to understand why your knees are taking a beating. The reason this gets worse with age is twofold. First, the fat padding on the bottom of your feet naturally thins out as you get older. That padding used to absorb a lot of the shock. Now it does not. Second, the cartilage inside your knee that acts as a cushion between your bones becomes thinner and less resilient with age. So, the impact from hard heel striking hits a joint that is already less equipped to handle it. What makes this mistake so common is that many seniors unconsciously start walking with a harder, heavier step because their sense of balance has decreased. They feel more secure planting their heel firmly. But that security comes at a real cost to the knee. The fix: shorten your steps slightly and think about landing with a softer, quieter heel. If you can hear your footsteps slapping against the floor, that is a sign you are hitting too hard. Aim for quiet steps. Soft contact. Let the natural curve of your foot roll forward from heel to toe smoothly rather than striking and stopping abruptly. Even a small reduction in impact force adds up to thousands of fewer shocks to your knee every single day. Mistake 2. Overstriding. This one surprises a lot of people. Most seniors think that taking longer steps is a sign of walking well. Bigger strides, better posture, more ground covered. It feels powerful. But overstriding, which means reaching your foot out too far in front of your body with each step, is one of the fastest ways to create knee pain. Here is what happens. When you overstride, your foot lands well ahead of your center of gravity. Your knee is then forced to absorb your full body weight at an angle it was not designed to handle. Instead of the force traveling straight down through a bent knee the way it should, it gets directed forward, creating enormous shear stress across the knee joint. That stress wears on the cartilage, strains the ligaments, and inflames the tendons over time. There is also something else going on. When the foot lands too far ahead, the knee naturally locks, or nearly locks out, straight to brace for impact. A locked knee has almost no shock absorption, so all of that force hits the joint rigid, with nowhere to go. Research from the Journal of Orthopedic and Sports Physical Therapy found that reducing stride length by just 10% significantly decreased the load on the knee joint during walking. That is a meaningful change from a tiny adjustment. After 60, the temptation to overstride often comes from a subconscious attempt to cover more ground while walking slower. But it is completely counterproductive. You cover less ground efficiently, and you damage your knees in the process. The fix: bring your steps in closer to your body. Your foot should land roughly beneath your hip, not out in front of it. A good way to practice this is to walk at a slightly faster cadence with shorter steps rather than slower with longer ones. Think quicker and shorter rather than slower and longer. Your knees will immediately feel the difference because the force is now traveling through the joint the way it was designed to handle it. Mistake 1. Walking with toes pointed outward. This is the most common mistake of all three, and it is also the one most people have no idea they are making because it has been their walking pattern for years, possibly decades. Stand up for a moment and look down at your feet. When you walk, do your toes point straight ahead or do they angle outward to the sides? If your feet look like the hands of a clock at 10 and 2, you are making this mistake, and your knees are paying for it. Here is why it is so damaging. When your toes point outward, it rotates your entire lower leg externally. That rotation puts the knee in a compromised position with every single step. The kneecap, which is supposed to track straight up and down in its groove, gets pulled slightly to the outside. Over thousands of steps, that misalignment grinds the kneecap against the cartilage underneath it. This is one of the leading causes of a condition called patellofemoral pain syndrome, which is essentially chronic kneecap pain, and it is extremely common in seniors. But it does not stop at the kneecap. The outward rotation also places stress on the inner side of the knee, which is where the medial collateral ligament and the medial meniscus sit. These are structures that are already vulnerable in aging knees. Repeatedly stressing them with a rotated walking pattern accelerates wear and frequently causes the aching, nagging pain on the inside of the knee that so many seniors describe. The reason this pattern develops in the first place is often tight hip muscles. As we age, the hip flexors and external rotators tighten from prolonged sitting and reduced activity. When those muscles are tight, they pull the leg into external rotation without you even feeling it. Your body has simply adapted to that position, and it becomes your default walking pattern. A study published in Clinical Biomechanics confirmed that seniors who walked with significant toe-out angles showed measurably higher medial knee loads compared to those who walked with a more neutral foot position. The difference in stress on the inner knee was substantial. The fix: consciously bring your toes forward when you walk. You do not need perfectly straight feet. Even pointing them just slightly more forward than you currently do will meaningfully reduce the rotational stress on your knees. A good cue is to imagine a straight line on the ground and aim to walk with each foot parallel to that line. It will feel strange at first, especially if your current pattern is deeply ingrained. That strangeness is normal. It means you are correcting something. Stick with it, and within a few weeks it will begin to feel natural. Alongside this, gentle hip stretching can help. Tight hips are often the root cause of the outward rotation. Simple hip flexor stretches done daily can gradually release that pull and make it easier to maintain a neutral foot position without effort. 3 mistakes: hard heel striking, overstriding, and walking with toes pointed outward. Any one of these on its own can cause knee pain after 60. Most people are doing all 3 without realizing it. The good news is that none of these require surgery, medication, or expensive equipment to fix. They require awareness and a little practice. Pay attention to how your foot lands. Shorten your stride, point your toes forward. That is it. Your knees have carried you your entire life. Small changes in how you walk can give them the relief they need to keep carrying you for a long time to come. If this was helpful, share it with someone you know who deals with knee pain. And if you have questions or want to share your experience, leave it in the comments below.